Regular meeting of the Gardner City Council Finance Committee to order. The clerk will please call the roll.
President Kaczynskis.
Present.
Councilor Hanaformer.
Present.
Councilor Gardner.
Present.
Is anyone here recording the meeting? Okay. We will begin with the review and approval of the meeting minutes of October 2nd, 2023, November 6th, 2023, and November 15th, 2023.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
Waive the reading.
Motion made by Councilor Cormier, seconded by Councilor Generalowitz to accept the minutes as presented and waive the reading of them. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Item 11105, an order authorizing $3,085.47 payment of prior year salary expenditure. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you very much, Madam President. This is a retro pay for a step that was missed for 2 different employees. The breakdown of that finance has been included in the packet for your information with the clerical staff at the Council on Aging. This is to correct the step retroactive to when they should have received it with all relative COLAs that would have been received at that step and making sure everything is brought right again.
Any questions, comments from the committee?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we recommend
Second.
passage.
Motion made by Councilor Cormier, seconded by Councilor Generalowitz to recommend passage, authorization of the payment to the full council. Is there discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Item 11106, a notification from the mayor regarding certification of FY 2024 tax levy. Mayor Nicholson.
Thank you, Madam President. This is something that I didn't send to the council previously when I've been mayor, but I figured it's good for informational purposes because it actually breaks down what Prop 2.5 means for us here in the city, seeing what the actual tax levy that we collected in property taxes was last year, what the implications and the increases based on Proposition 2.5 are, how much new growth then adds onto that, and then the full amount onto that. So since you can see the breakdown that was used to calculate the actual tax levy, it adds a little more color to when we go back then again in June to work on the operating budget for the fiscal year 25, so you can kind of see how it worked in this year and then apply that to the next year. Additionally, it shows that we actually do have what's called excess capacity here in Gardner. What that means is back when the previous administration chose a couple years not to tax up to the full 2.5% as allowed by law, the city actually carries over that difference every year, and if we needed to, because of financial straits, go into that difference in the long run, we could actually do that without having to go for a Proposition 2.5 override. It's something we have not looked into doing here, and I have no intention of doing here.
I didn't realize we were allowed to do that. I thought once going.
See, and that's exactly why I wanted to include this here is, say we tax 2% next year instead of the 2.5, we actually carry over that extra 0.5% with us as we go in what's called our excess levy capacity. That could be used as revenue again without having to go for the ballot question. Again, only for informational and educational purposes. I have no intention of doing that in the next fiscal year, but I thought it would be good just in the spirit of transparency and collaboration.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Questions, comments from the committee?
Thank the mayor for the information. We'll move to recommend to the full council to place this notification on file.
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Generalowitz, seconded by Councilor Cormier to recommend placing the notification on file. Discussion on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. The motion passes. Thank you for that information, Mr. Mayor. Item 11107, a notification from the mayor regarding FY 2024 tax rate and FY 2024 tax recapitulation.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Mayor.
Madam. Thank you, Madam President. This is the formal certification from the Commonwealth that our tax rate for the next year is $14.99. It is a little higher. We thought it was going to be $14.97. However, what happened was there was a when we send in everything for certification, we have to send in what all of our revenue projections are for the year, and we're currently projecting a surplus in the water enterprise account. And DOR told us that we can't have a surplus in our projections. We have to break out even. So when you take out that surplus, it bumps the tax rate up by that extra 3 cents per $1,000 valuation. This still is putting us in par with the lowest tax rate that we've had since 2010. But one of the things I noted in my letter is I want to thank our auditor, John Richard, and our city assessor, Chris Kumar. This beats Gardner's record by 3 full weeks that this process has been done. This is something that must be done before January 1st every year. And normally our officers are scrambling to get this done on December 30th and 31st to get this in, and we have a whole month ahead of us this time. So there's a lot that we can do to move forward with that. And getting the processes in line. So I wanted to make sure that the council had all of this information before them on exactly what our levy is made up of, where the other one tells us what the levy number is. This tells us what makes up that number by the classifications of properties within that number. That then determines what our final tax rate is.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know this is a question I feel like that we get a lot from people, even though they're asking about this information. This is really good to have as well. So thank you. Questions, comments from the committee?
Just like to thank the auditor and his department, and the assessor and her department for their hard work and getting this done so fast.
Make a motion to recommend placing on file.
Second?
Motion made by Councilor Cormier, seconded by Councilor Journalowitz to place the notification, to recommend placing the notification on file. Is there discussion on the motion?
Madam President, if I could just
Mr. Mayor?
add, we may be seeing this document again. One of the things that I've been reviewing since my 3 years as mayor is how we present information versus how other communities present information. And to me, the time that we get asked about this information in particular the most is when the budget's being formulated, but yet we don't see this again until this time of year every year. So I do plan to change the way the budget is formatted. The department heads will be getting their budget memorandum by Friday this week to notify them to start building their budgets for the 2025 fiscal year. And included in that, I also want to add more information on where our revenue comes from, what our revenue projections are, and to paint a more clearer picture so that when we do get questions like this from our constituents, it's an easier document to point to and to say, this is the answer right here in black and white.
When would you normally be sending them their budget memo?
End of January.
Okay, so it's a month ahead of time.
Yeah, we're a month ahead of time in this, and it gives them more time for the adjustment to the new format that we're going to be using.
You voted on that, so vote's all set. Any further questions, comments from the committee?
Was that voted on?
Did we vote?
We didn't vote yet.
Okay. So the motion was made by Councilor Cormier, seconded by Councilor Journalowitz to place the notification on file. No more discussion? Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made by Councilor Journalowitz, seconded by Councilor Cormier to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Meeting stands adjourned. Thank you, everyone.